This is one of the most exciting videos I've made in a long time. Oh, that looked cool. At least for what I find exciting. I just got in my CD7 dash from AEM. You guys need to check this out. They're doing tons of machine work in there, so I've got to introduce my new baby out here. Take a look at this. This is what you get when you order the CD7. Mine has the logging built in to the dash right there, which, God, that's beautiful. Oh my God, that's a logging unit right there, but it also has the GPS as well as the vehicle dynamics module, which is the accelerometer right there. This has to be mounted in the center of the vehicle for it to work properly. 3-axis accelerometer. Oh, it even has a gyroscope for, of course, even more accuracy. It connects to the CAN bus, and like I said, 10 hertz GPS, but it does actually operate slightly higher. They just can't advertise that. All of this is CAN bus enabled, which is really the wave of the future for good old car vehicle electronics. Some of the coolest features of this thing include the shift lights. If you've seen an optioned out Ferrari 458, they have these built out in the steering wheel. Good old shift lights to keep you focused on the road ahead of you, while these light up telling you, hey, it's time to shift. They also have these two built in that can be turn signals, even though turn signals can be built into this beautiful, bright display. If you see this display light up, it means business. Also, it is not touchscreen, which there's not really a reason for it to be a touchscreen, but it does have these tabs on the side that can do multiple things based on what you press. But for the most part, it lets you go between pages. So one screen can be, the TAC, the next screen can be focused on errors, the next screen can be focused on sensor readings, and so on. It just has every single option you'd want all in one dash. If any of you have ever priced out Motec equipment, you know it's quality, but holy crap is it expensive. AEM has done a phenomenal job at revolutionizing the price point for something this well featured. This thing has lap times and everything. Really, you can customize it with all the computer stuff to the point of almost being overwhelmed. So, this thing fully optioned out is about $2,000, way less than almost all the other dashes with the similar capacity. For those of you wondering, is this for the 3-rotor or for the 4-rotor? Yes, it's technically for both. As you can understand, swapping parts between the two help keep content flowing on this channel, but this is really a 4-rotor solution. And a 4-rotor solution is going to be premium. If I'm gonna put a dash in the 4-rotor, you know I'm gonna put it in something sexy. Look at this. This is almost masochistic taking off. Ugh. I have a love-hate relationship with peeling plastic off of things. It hurts, but it feels so good. Check this out. What better thing than a carbon fiber cowl or hood for the dash? That is the sexiest, almost OEM setup that you can get. All the original pop-up lights and whatever was that, cruise control, all those things will still fit in there. And of course there's buttons for things down here as well. But a modern, high-tech dash in the FD cowl. That is sexy as hell. Like I said, this is meant for the 4-rotor, so ultimately I'm gonna have to pull it out of the 3-rotor when the 4-rotor comes to life. But in the meantime, we can test and configure and work this thing over to get exactly the information we want out of it.
Oh yeah. So you put it in there, and then you just lightly, since we don't have a transfer punch, you just lightly hit it with the hammer, and then it'll be centered.
Oh, nice. This solution right here has been wonderful for a budget setup. It's about 1/10 of the cost of what I'm installing. Using a $100 tablet as a dash, you're limited to the amount of light that the thing gives off, and of course, tablets have very bright reflective screens, so there are some distinct negatives, but for the dollar, that is the best solution I've ever had. I'm gonna pop that little thing out and test fit the other one now. See, it's kind of a stretched thin a little bit on that carbon fiber when you hold it up to the light like this. No worries, well, you can kind of see, this is what it is. It's a phenomenal piece of equipment, but it's got some interesting aspects to it. Some of my goals include being able to see the dash at the right angle through the steering wheel, more so not hitting the plastic that goes around the steering column, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Well, she's definitely going to be a tight fit, but it will work. If you look at it from my point of view, you can see that the shift lights are just barely, this is from my eyes level, you'll see that the shift lights are just barely below the steering wheel, but that means I can still see them. Of course, I'll have the tack at the front and center right where my thumb is, so that really won't make much of a difference. I'm gonna see what RPM I'm at no matter what. One step closer, I've got some of the holes lined up to where I want it. If you guys remember when I did the half-mile event, I had my buddy Joe here help make everything possible. I wouldn't have been able to make a Colinga without him. Joe happens to run a wiring shop, JR Wiring, and he's elected to dive into the mess that is in my 3-rotor. May God have mercy on his soul. I got it right at the base of the curve where it's that's good enough, right? This is looking promising. Well, there's a final product. This is the best thing in my life that I've ever fabricated. Thanks to everybody here. I'm going to quit my job as a YouTuber and my IT work and just become a fabricator. That is a finished product right there. The AEM connects directly through the USB right there to your computer for configuration, but then its power and everything else goes through what would ultimately be the CAN bus line. So that line, that big one right there, connects into the back of the unit and then snakes all the way over there. As you can tell, there's two major lines. One goes to the third-party CAN bus, which is the Adaptronic, and the other one ends up daisy chaining over to the vehicle dynamics module and the GPS. That quickly, on the first test, Joe's stuff worked. I'm not used to that. I don't know how I feel, but he's already got all of his magic to connect it up to the computer and tune it from Abel's R100. He's already done the hard work there, but yeah, it feels weird seeing something fire up the first time. For those of you wondering, the CD7 is massive compared to the CD5, obviously 2 more inches of screen space, but look at this. It fits almost perfectly within a little bit of tolerance between the aftermarket cowl and the steering column. That's genuinely a snug fit. The cowl's going to be pushing back a little bit once the fasteners are in, so you'll have just that perfect little bit of clearance, and it's going to fit every bit of that space.
Ha!
There you go,
You've been
guys.
officially pimped, Rob.
Yep. Oh, that's cool.
We gotta start this thing up and see if go through everything, and if everything uploaded correctly, everything should be.
You want me to try turning it over? See if...
Yep.
Okay. Here's the first official startup. We just updated the Adaptronic software to version 2 if those of you are using Adaptronic, but check this out. There it is. So we got a couple different screens to pick off of right off the bat. Pressing the little button here. Obviously the car's not started. But there you go. My oil temp is naturally negative 6,000 because I don't have a sensor hooked up at the moment. It doesn't really mean that I have negative 6,000. That'd be kind of impressive because I'd be breaking some thermodynamic laws right there, wouldn't it? Of course, with any sort of computer software, there's going to be a lot of configuration, and this software is no exception. We can edit alarms, we can edit colors. You can see that Joe's already set the red in the background. That's for my Dahm logo on the back of it. What we have right now is Abel's R100 config file, which he runs 16 volts instead of 12 or 14. So of course mine's alarming, and Joe's fixing that condition right now. Ooh. peer pressuring me to rev it hard, so we'll see how this goes.
Do it, Rob.
Yep. Oh, that looked cool.